how to start your Monday morning. Start the fire, boil the water, grind the coffee, add filter, coffee in the filter, water into filter, watch it drip, more water, watch it drip some more, fill your cup, raise your cup, and no. Leave the house and leave it up to the professionals to make the coffee. I'll stick to the conversations. Welcome to Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. Hey, good morning. Thank you for joining us. This is Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. This is the 70th episode. We've been a lot of places in those 70 episodes, but we are here at Every Media in downtown Royal Oak, right off Main Street. A big thank you to Dean, who is in charge of this beautiful studio, and a big thank you to our live audience. We have a full house today, which is so exciting. So thank you so much for everyone to be here with us in person and with us on the stream as well. So we've got a lot to talk about. First, we are going to talk about single ladies and everything they're doing. I'm with Jeanette Schneider. She is the president of RE/MAX of Southeastern Michigan. And so, Jeanette, I read an article in the Wall Street Journal written by Rachel Wolf that said, American women are giving up on marriage.
You're just going to drop that out there and let me respond?
But here's the deal. But they're all buying houses.
They are buying houses.
Go. There's your hook.
There's my hook.
She's like, ooh, that was a close one. Okay, so what is the percentage of single women who are actually just buying houses on their own?
Well, if you take a look, most recent stats would say 20%, single women represent 20% of the home buying market versus, if by comparison, 8% of single men.
Really?
So, I mean, there's a vast difference there. And if you dig a little deeper into the numbers, 24% of first-time buyers are women.
Okay.
24% of over 65 buyers are also women.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of like they're buying a house when they're starting out, and then they're buying a house when they're starting over.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. Or starting over or starting over alone.
Right.
You know, I mean, for whatever reason. Yeah.
Okay. So how, if you're a woman buying your first house, what do you take into account? I
think there's a lot of things that you have to take into account. But for most women, what they're looking at is they want financial independence. And I think that's really what this is kind of leading to. Like you said, kind of putting off marriage, not feeling like I need somebody else to do this.
Right. And more women, that article said more women are actually going to college.
That's true also.
So that makes a difference as well because now they're climbing up the ladder.
They're climbing up the ladder. They have the education and they're having more career success. Because, where before typically women's jobs, may have been a little bit more part-time, family, focused around, working with the family.
Right.
And now women are having career success in many, many fields. And so it's affording them the financial ability to do that, which is going to be paramount, right? I mean, you have to have the money to buy a house.
For sure.
So you have to have that. So I mean that's definitely part of what's leading it. The other part is this, this incredible desire to be financially independent, to kind of bet on yourself or finance on yourself versus paying that money to a landlord. And women are really getting that. It's like,
as opposed to renting.
Yeah, as opposed to renting. It's like, hey, why don't I pay myself versus making somebody else, kind of wealthy at my expense.
You have equity, right?
Equity is such a big thing. I mean, this is true obviously across gender lines, but for people that own a home, on average, have a $400,000 net worth versus a $10,000 net worth for renters.
Really?
It's a huge difference. And so for women, if you're able to do that, and now let's factor in another thing that, we sometimes talk about is the gender pay gap, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a real thing.
It is.
And as of 2023, there's still on average a 17% difference in what women made versus men for the same jobs and the same, take whatever
side, right?
Yes, silos, in whatever position you have in the job as the job, offers different opportunities, still like kind of a 17% across the board differential. Well, for women, if they get in and own a home, that can really bridge and make up that pay gap in essence.
So what's interesting though is that all the stress, all the pressure is on you.
Yeah.
Right. So
it is. I mean, so you want to have a good team around you. And, that starts with, when you're buying the house, you want to have a good real estate agent. You want to have a good lender.
Right.
Typically the agent can, hook you up or give you referrals, to great inspectors and, the other things that come along with it. And I would also say whether it's family or your agent can also be a good resource as far as the plumber, the electrician, the different things that you might need to repair the house. I'm sure most women are willing to tackle a lot of things on their own.
Okay. So let me tell you, over the weekend, I sent my mom a picture. I was like, I think my gutter's falling off my house. What happened? And so then it was on a line.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, now my gutter has fallen off my house. It is now on a line. Is it a power line or is it a cable line? You know, what is it? So then I sat there staring at it. Of course, I send her pictures. I'm like, what is this?
Like, because mom knows everything,
Mom
right?
knows all, right? So I was proud. I did call DTE.
Yep.
They came out and they're like, nope, it's a cable line. You're fine. You know, it's not live. So you can take that gutter down. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to climb right up there and do that right now.
It's right on
still
there.
Like,
yeah.
you know.
But you handled it well, right?
I did. I handled it partially, I guess.
Yeah, well, checked with mom first, but then mom told you to make the call, which you made. So.
I don't think she did tell me to. I think I did that on my own.
Did that on your own?
I did.
But I mean, those types of things, and it's really interesting because, you know, typically if you have family around, you know, especially like parents, right?
For
They're
sure.
going to want to give you who they use. And that could be a really, really, really great resource. But often the tradespeople and the contractors are busy. And we have a really hard time a lot of times as consumers getting them to come out to our house.
So that kind of started during COVID.
Yes.
Oh. Right? I mean, the whole, it was like, I can't get anyone to do this. There's nobody around. They have a 3-month wait list.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you know, and sometimes the job is basically, though, they won't really often say it to your faces, your job's too small for me.
Exactly.
So
I think a couple people did
say that to you.
Yeah, I think so.
So real estate agents can be a really great source on this because they're not a one and done, because that's what a lot of
because they go on referrals.
They go on referrals, and they're constantly giving them referrals to their clients. And it's amazing how quick when it's a ready stream of people that it's getting supplied to them that they'll come out. So again, putting a team together.
Okay.
There's a variety of ways to do it, but I think it's really important to do that.
Okay, so there is one thing that I have noticed since I've owned my home on my own is that when I do need help with a repairman or something, and I'm not always sure if it's not a referral or even if it is, that they don't always do the job like they say they did.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how do you combat that?
I don't know that there's a great way to combat. I mean, there's probably different ways to combat that. I think one of the ways is that I did this. It was interesting when we moved just about a year, literally just a year ago. And I am married, so I had a husband, but I kind of was the one that was taking, control of booking the movers and, all of this type of stuff.
Because you're kind of in the business.
Kind of in the business. I guess it kind of defaulted. This kind of fell into my.
He's like, this is all you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was told me a couple of times, and it was funny because I'm trusting a lot of women. The agent was women. I'm a woman. Our lender was a woman. The plumber was a woman. I mean, I just kind of laugh because it's like
high five, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
So the few things that were left to the other gender is where we had challenges, and I have pointed that out more than once. I said, let me just go back and take a look at how this worked out.
Review.
So the movers were not women, and a woman-owned company, but not women that actually were doing the move, and there were some issues, shall we say.
Okay.
So took photographs, submitted to the owner, because they need to know.
Right.
First of all, I wanted to be made right, and I felt I deserved to be made right.
Exactly.
You damaged carpet.
Oh, yeah.
In the old house that I'm trying to sell.
That you're trying to sell.
Yeah. You damaged carpet. You did all these different things. A couple things on the furniture, a little bit on the new house, but it's like, but as a business owner, they needed to know.
Yes.
And so I think, to some degree, don't take it. Don't think that just because somebody gave you less than service, it's like, well, I guess this is just the way it's going to be. Or that they were a referral,
then you don't want to tell. I mean, you do need to tell these people.
You do need to, it kind of shine light on it, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did your carpet get fixed?
They paid for the cleaning of the carpet. They came out the next day and cleaned it at the new house, and they did it. They made me as whole as I could expect given the circumstances. Okay. Yeah, I was fine.
They're like, I'm sorry, you're who with what?
Well, and I didn't really want to lead with that because that can hurt or help, depending. But I had said, I do work for a real estate company. I could probably refer some business. And I told them that kind of up front, and this still happened. So,
okay.
Yeah.
But they did make
it
okay.
right. Yeah.
Okay. So the bottom line is speak up.
Speak up. Yeah.
Okay. So speak up. Let's talk about the home market in general. Okay. So it's funny because it's still kind of cold. It's March, almost the end of March. It's still kind of cold, and weather does affect people buying homes.
It does, and I think we saw that in part in February. February, I mean, it's always a quieter month if you look at the 12-month calendar. February is never going to be our big point for home sales, but February was down 12% over last year.
Oh.
Well, February had a couple of cold snaps, wind chills below zero. It had some measurable snow. There for a while we have every couple of days we had that, and that really did impact. Psychologically, we're told after the Super Bowl, people start thinking winter's behind us. In our market, I would say we really you need to get to this time of the year. Like March has had some of these teaser spring days.
Yeah, it's been beautiful.
And so I'm hoping that that's going to signify, better story at the end of March for home sales.
Okay, so we've got the weather, and of course we've got the interest rates.
Yes. they're not our, well, I shouldn't say they're not our friend. They're near norms.
Okay.
If we take a look over time, the average interest rate is 7% or right near it. So we're really kind of average. It doesn't feel like it.
Right, for sure.
Because we were coming out of, 2 and 3 or 4 was considered a high interest rate, at one time. So 6.68, which is where I think it ended last week, doesn't seem like a great rate. But if we put it in a historical context, it's not bad. But you add that to the prices of homes keep increasing. So for somebody who is trying to save and who is trying to get into a home
and to buy maybe their first home,
and to buy their
That's
first home,
yeah.
I mean there are financial pressures and affordability issues that they're working through.
Right. Okay. So interest rates, and my favorite question to ask you every time.
Yes.
She's ready for it.
I'm ready for you.
What is the hottest market?
Well, if I go by where home sales were up in February more than 20%, it would be St. Clair Shores.
Really?
Yeah, St. Clair Shores topped a 30% increase. I mean, I actually have a few markets if you want more than one.
Give me more than one.
So we've got St. Clair Shores, Royal Oak, Commerce Township, Warren and Sterling Heights were the top 5 as far as home sales being up. And all of them were up more than 20% over the year prior, which was saying something given that February as a whole in Metro Detroit was so down. Yeah.
Okay, so those are the hot places. And then time on the market.
37 days.
Is that up or down or the same?
It's actually it was 40 in January, so it did go down slightly. Okay. Yeah, I mean, still relatively good.
It is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I told you I walk around when I'm walking my dog and I see a for sale sign in Berkeley, and then it's gone.
Well, we have been at teens or 20s for so long. Last year we started to get into the 30s, and then every now and then certain cities or certain will go to 40. It'll be a blip and then it comes back down. Right. But when you put it again in a historical context,
it's not bad.
It's not bad. I mean, there used to be times when 3 months, 4 or 5 months was an average to get a home sold. I mean, that they're still selling,
right?
In a month and a half.
So what about the offers? Because there were multiple offers on multiple homes, and you were actually in bidding wars. Is that still going on? Or
it is still going on? Not as prevalent.
Okay.
Not as prevalent, but I mean, truly, if you do have a very well maintained home, in kind of a good median price range, very sought after.
Okay. So what is the median
price right now? Was $308,000 in February. So if you get something in that price range and it's been well maintained, it's clean, and all that, it is not uncommon for there to still be multiple offers, or somebody to say, okay, highest and best, get that in by Sunday at 5 if you're looking at it. I would anticipate, if we don't see a lot of inventory coming on the market this spring. I mean, spring always brings out, some more, but it always brings out more buyers too. So if that dynamic doesn't dramatically change, and I don't think it will, I'm not going to be surprised to see a little bit more of that type of activity again.
Okay, so for it to pick
spring.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I ask everyone this question. I'm going to ask you now. Nothing to do with homes.
Okay.
Okay, but if you were going to meet your younger self for coffee, what would you tell her?
Take chances. I think, especially in my career, I would say that I was probably very conservative. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I don't want to do something else. I think I can do it really, really well.
Okay.
And so probably earlier in my career, I would have been very cautious on raising the hand and volunteering and doing stuff. And I'd say, go for it. If you don't know it, you're going to figure it out. Throw yourself out there. You'll figure it out. And you'll be surprised what you can do.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That's Jeanette Schneider from RE/MAX, president, Southeastern Michigan. Okay, so thank you. You're staying right here with me. Okay, so March is reading month, and you will be amazed at where you can find library books, like at the grocery store. Woodward Corners in Royal Oak. I headed there for a library kiosk. Let's watch. Okay, so March is reading month. I am with Sandy Irwin. She is the director of the Royal Oak Library. And did you know that you can actually get books at Woodward Corners grocery store? So she's going to show me just how easy it is. Okay,
right. So your library card's right there on the app. Oops. I made it disappear. So go ahead and scan that barcode.
All right.
The door unlocked. All right, grab a couple of books.
Okay. Oh gosh, I feel like I'm like
like you're shopping.
Like I'm shopping.
You are shopping for books.
Let's see. Brave New You. Can I grab more than one?
Yes, you can.
Is there a limit to what?
We ask that people only check out 5 so they don't empty the machine.
Okay, got it. All right. I don't have little kids, but this is cute. Okay. All right, so now what do I do?
Now I want you to shut the door.
Okay, I'm shutting the door. Okay.
Now the door's shut, it is running an inventory, and what it's doing is reading the RFID tags that are in the back, or radio frequency tags. And the little separators in the machine are checking the inventory of everything that was in the machine. And it says, look, you have checked out 3 items. And then you can say,
crazy.
Receipt or not.
Okay. So then it just flipped. And how long can you keep a book?
3 weeks.
Okay, so 3 weeks.
Yes.
Overdue fees?
No overdue fees from the Royal Oak Public Library.
My mom is still getting overdue fees from mine when I was a kid. This is so awesome. And of course, anytime the store's open, this is available.
Yes, it is.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I got to get to reading.
All right, thank you. Good luck.
And like I said, in that video, no overdue fees. So who can beat that, right?
Right.
Okay,
Awesome.
so we were just talking about the housing market and how more single women are buying homes. But we all know that credit scores play a huge part in pretty much any aspect of our life now, but especially the home buyer market. There is a Check Your Score Day coming up this week, right?
Yes.
And I am with Gesher Human Services Financial Education Manager, Lasha Cunningham.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. And of course, it is
me.
also National Credit Education Month.
It is. It is.
We've got a lot going on, man.
Yes. March is a huge month.
It is. It is. Okay. So what is happening on Wednesday?
Yeah, well, first let me say, when you were speaking to Jeanette earlier, 56% of women actually are the head of the household when it comes to finances. So
Really?
yes, it is. So it's really important that women are really financially educated and really understanding credit scores and what we'll be talking about here today.
Yeah. So, okay. So I guess let's start off with what is a stellar credit score and what is a not so stellar credit
so
score?
a stellar credit score would be about 750 and higher, and a lower credit score would be anything between 450, 500 would be classified as poor.
Okay. So how high can a credit score go?
So about 800.
Oh, it is 800. Okay. Okay. So Gesher Human Services, you guys do so much out in the community,
Yes.
and you're doing not only checking your credit score, but then you're actually able to sit down with somebody to kind of go over it.
Yes, yes. So on Wednesday, March 26th at 1 o'clock, we're going to do a 30-minute complimentary session for some families, and we're going to go over we're going to pull their credit report, and then we're going to go over it. And we're really going to take a deep dive into errors, their payment history, and their utilization, because those are really three key things that can prevent you, oh my God, I'm tongue-tied, but prevent you from having a good credit score. So we want to make sure that we're helping families with that.
Okay. So what is interesting to me is that I was super proud of myself. I actually paid off 2 credit cards.
Awesome.
But then they closed them.
Okay.
I was like, what? I paid it, I paid it down because I didn't want the interest and all of that on a monthly basis. And then I paid it and then they closed it.
Right. So typically we don't recommend that you close your credit cards when you pay them off, because you want to keep that available balance, which is also going to affect your utilization. So if there's opportunity, if you're not using them, and if there's opportunity to reopen them, it may be a good thing for you.
Oh, but what's interesting is that, okay, well, I paid it off and I was just not going to use it. And then somebody said, no, you need to use it at least once.
At least once.
And then pay it off immediately.
And then pay it off immediately. So that was good advice.
Okay, so that's good advice.
Yes, because they want to make sure that you're using the cards. Because again, a lot of times when you don't use the cards, some creditors will close the line or reduce the limit. So you want to charge something really small. Maybe if you need to get some gas or 35, 40 bucks.
Coffee maybe,
or
right?
some coffee maybe, and then just pay it right off.
Okay.
Yeah, because you want to make sure you're keeping that activity, because that's going to be a part of your payment history as well.
Okay, so things that show up on a credit report are payment histories.
Payment histories.
Okay, what
else?
Collections.
Judgments, liens, public records. Yeah.
What about medical debt?
They show up on the your credit report. However, they are not used at this point to determine the credit score. So typically, if a lender is looking at your report, they won't use that debt against you.
They won't. Okay. All right. So
and this is a new thing. This is
it
within
is,
the
right?
last
That's what I
24
thought.
months. Yeah.
Okay, so that's new. What? So Wallet Hub came out with their survey, right? They do it on an annual basis, I think, right? Where they rank cities by credit card debt.
Credit history.
Credit history.
And credit scores. Yeah.
And Detroit and Grand Rapids did not fare so well.
Not at all. Detroit came in at 566, which is tremendously low. So we definitely know that there's work to be done in that community.
Okay, and they were last on the list, right?
They were, I believe, at 182.
180, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Detroit came in last. So what does that tell you as far as the area and what people need to work on?
It tells me that there are some issues with the way they pay their bills, issues with utilization, perhaps some errors as well, and then also inquiries are a big part of that.
Okay, so let's talk about inquiries because there's hard checks and soft checks.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the difference?
So Gesher, what we'll be doing on Wednesday, we will be running what we call a soft pull, and then if you're applying for credit or lending or anything that involves money, it's always going to be a hard pull. So soft pulls are for informational, yes, and hard pulls are for lending.
And those stay on your credit report?
Yes, they do.
And they
for
pull
2 years.
They pull it down, right?
They can if you have numerous ones, yeah.
Define numerous.
Well, I would say if, someone's, actively applying for a lot of retail cards, or sometimes even we go shopping for a car, I think that it's important to know what your score is before you even get to that dealership, so you know what programs you qualify for, versus them trying to find a lender for you sometimes. So they're pulling your credit score several times. So you may walk in with a 650, 700.
And then it could go down as you're sitting there.
It typically does, because
Really?
there's so many different pools. And again, when you're looking for credit or lending, or even just applying for a personal loan, it's always going to be a hard pool. And so those hard pools actually reduce your credit score.
Well, I know, and Jeanette, maybe you can speak to this, that when you are applying for mortgages and those hard checks, hard pulls, they drag your credit score down, and then all of a sudden the lender's coming back and saying, oh, well, now your credit score just dropped.
Yeah. So when you're shopping for a mortgage, you actually have 30 days to do some shopping before it starts to impact your credit score. So I would say if they're looking for a home, use that window to apply, because we want them to get the best rate and the best, the loan. But again, do it within that 30 days. That's going to help those
So does that 30 days start
from the first time you pull?
Okay.
Yes.
And you can do as many as you want?
You can. During that 30
During that 30 days.
Right. And then after that, it starts to impact your score.
Okay. All right. So what can families expect that show up at Gusher on Wednesday?
Well, they expect to learn a lot more. We're going to give them some tools, some good resources and tips as well on how to continue to make those payments on time, or make them on time if they're not doing so, understanding what that utilization is versus their balance, and helping them check through any errors, because sometimes they may pay off an account and it's not reflected, so that's still bringing their score down. So going through that, we're going to also look at their inquiries to see how many things that they're applying for each month, and we're going to help them or give them some advice on reducing that, and then also talk to them a little bit about the length of history, which is kind of what I was talking about with you earlier about having those cards and closing them out, because you always want to have a good length of history so the lenders can see it.
So for, like, say, college students who are going off to college and getting that first credit card, or what do you tell their parents?
Use it wisely for emergencies only.
Okay. Yeah. And should that be in their name, or just so they establish credit?
I would think that it would be okay for, if they're working. I think it's good for it to be in their name, so that they can start building their own credit history. If they're not working, maybe have a parent go on with them.
Okay. Yeah. Because establishing that credit history
is important,
and sometimes difficult too.
It is, because having no score is almost as bad as having a low score, because they don't have a history of how you pay your bills. So a lot of times they'll decline it.
Okay, so how do you, for that very first person who has no credit, where do you start?
I would say apply for a credit card. If they didn't receive it, maybe ask a parent to go on as a co-signer. But also there's, loans that you can get through your bank that will help you create some credit. So the alternative credit as well can help, especially when you're going to get your mortgage. You can use like some of your auto insurance payments, and if they rental payments as well, to help build that alternative history.
Okay, so that all goes toward it then.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll write this down.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I asked Jeanette, and you have a heads up on this one, but if you were meeting your younger self for coffee, what would you tell her?
I would piggyback off a lot of what Jeanette said. Don't be afraid to take that risk. Sometimes fear is your worst enemy, and just move forward and go for it. If it doesn't work out, try it again, but eventually it usually does. So.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Real quick, how do people register? You have to register for this Wednesday, right? Okay, so how do people do that?
They can go on www.geshermi.org, or they can give us a call at area code 248-233-4299.
Okay, and spots still available?
There is, yep.
Okay. Yes. What if somebody can't make it Wednesday, but they'd really like to do
They can still give us a call, because we offer those programs as well. Outside of that, we're just doing this, obviously, for the month of March. But they can reach out to us, and we can do individual one-on-one sessions. We can still pull their credit report complimentary as well. And they can just sit down with us and talk about it.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that. Yay! Okay, so not only is it National Credit Education Month, yesterday was the start of National Cleaning Week.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? See, it's all tied together. We're all tied together.
You buy a house, you get your credit right, and then you clean up, right?
Clean your house. Then it's like, woo, woo. Okay, so here's the deal. So spring cleaning, right? It doesn't feel like spring today, but it will be, and people are refreshing their home. And maybe instead of tossing that stuff, you want to donate that stuff. And you can do it at Volunteers of America, the thrift store. They have one in Westland. It is amazing. Right on Warren Road, right across from Westland Mall, where I used to work. I'm not ashamed to admit, I used to work at the Olga's there and the Fisher's Hallmark.
Awesome.
Favorite jobs ever.
Right. The snackers are the best.
Right, yeah, exactly. The
Had to
snackers
mention
are the
them.
best. So, but the thing is that, Volunteers of America, Michigan, their stuff, when you go into their thrift stores, they have so many different services that they offer. So for veterans, seniors, even families. So when you're donating your stuff rather than tossing it away and just, contributing to the garbage, right? You can actually donate it and it will go for a really good cause.
You're
so
helping someone.
So that is a great thing to do during this National Credit Awareness Week, National Cleaning Week. What else we got going on? Reading Month.
Right. So.
Okay, so I have a quiz for both of you. Of course, they welcome every donated item, but what is the number one room that people clean in their home the first time?
I want to say kitchen.
She took kitchen, so I'll take bathroom. I was going to take kitchen.
Kitchen, it is kitchen. That's so crazy to me. So it's kitchen, and then bedroom, and then bathroom, and most people spend 6 days spring cleaning.
Wow. I can see that, yeah.
I'm not most people.
I would say about a good week.
About a good week.
I would say.
But do you do it consecutively, or do you chop it up in little pieces?
I chop it up.
You chop it up. Okay, so you're not just. I'm not going to call you Jeanette. You're going to be like, listen,
I'm
man,
sorry.
I'm
It's
Jeanette's
Jeanette's clean reading week.
Because we're all working.
Right.
We're working every day, and some people have kids as well. So it's a lot. So you chop it up and you get it done.
and get it done, right?
Take your breaks.
Exactly. So Volunteers of America, Michigan, they are wonderful. I've worked with them before. They were our nonprofit a couple months back, and just really, I love what they do and their services. So all those donations, super helpful. Yep. So last week we did our Curtains Up segment. I'm kind of stalling because I'm wondering where Nicole is. I'm like, oh, there she is. Okay, so hi, come on in. Can you?
So we're moving down.
We're doing the shift, man. We're doing the shift. So hi, Nicole. Hello. How are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm good. Thank you. Okay, so last week in our Curtains Up segment, we highlighted the bucket list of the Booze Club. Okay. Which actually was at Rosedale Community Players last year. Excellent show written by local playwright Maureen Paraventi. Today we are highlighting a festival going on next weekend. And I'm super excited about this because the name is hilarious.
Yes.
What's the name?
It's the Tri-County Try Something Stage Reading Festival.
That's a lot to say.
You're right. It's a mouthful.
I'm going to clap for you for saying that. Okay, so this is a very funny story because you are actually one of the playwrights.
I am, yes.
But you submitted your audition. All right, tell me the story. I don't want to blow it for you.
It was a very happy accident. So basically, everybody filled out the same Google form for the festival. So playwrights, directors, and actors all filled out the same thing. And I think the actor in me put a resume and a headshot, and my script in the form. Okay. And what ended up happening is that once I submitted my form, is that my headshot and my resume got put in an actor folder. Even though I was only intending to be a playwright. So our director, who I didn't know at the time, Tiffany, reached out to me and she's like, hey, I'm going to be directing this show called Champagne Problems, and I think you'd be a great fit for this character, Catherine. And I was really excited because I was like, that's my show.
That's awesome.
But then I was like, but why is she explaining it to me? And went from being really excited to really confused to really excited again. So
okay, so bottom line is you're acting in your own show.
Yes.
And Champagne Problems?
Yes, that is the title of the show.
I love that title. Tell me what it's about.
It is about a small town coffee shop in a small military town in Texas. And it takes place in the war in Afghanistan. And it is about a woman named Catherine. And, the show starts with her, in this modern day fairy tale. She is graduating from college. She is about to marry her best friend. But her presumed dead ex-fiance, who died while he was overseas battling, has now come back from the dead. Oh. And he has amnesia.
Is he really alive?
Yeah, he's really alive.
Oh, he is? Okay.
So she has to basically figure out how to help him regain his memory and figure out her future as she is now stuck in this love triangle.
Oh, we love triangles.
Right? It's fun. It sounds so cheesy, but it's fun.
Is it a comedy? Is it drama? What is it?
I think it leans more into a drama. It lives in the world of dramedy, but
Okay.
I think it deals with a lot of dramatic themes. So I would put it more in like the romantic drama category.
Okay, so how long did it take you to write this?
Ooh, it has been probably about a 5-year process. This is the first full-length play that I've written. And, you know, when I started it, it was really just a fun project that I was working on during quarantine. I just really needed a creative outlet, and I didn't feel like I was a writer. Like, I really don't even think that I would confidently say that I was a writer until last year. And so it's just been really interesting going from just trying something and it getting here to a staged reading.
That is so awesome. So is it a full length?
It is a full-length play. It's in 2 acts.
Okay. And are you Catherine in real life?
I am definitely not Catherine in real life. You know, she is very type A. She's a very logical thinker. That is not me. I would say the thing I have most in common with the character is my coffee addiction.
Oh.
So yes.
Go figure.
Right?
I think you should write me in.
Okay, absolutely.
Exactly. Okay, so you are, what's your day job?
I'm a MFA student, so I'm going for my Master's of Fine Arts in Creative Writing with a concentration in playwriting.
Okay.
So I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to just focus on that for now.
That is awesome. So what are you hoping to, obviously getting this play to a stage reading is wonderful.
Yes. I think for now, the concentration, I'll finish that up in a year. So I think right now graduation and finishing up that degree is the goal. We'll have to work on my thesis coming up this year, so that will take a lot of time and research to pour into that. But ultimately, down the road, of course, this project specifically, it being my first one, it's kind of my baby.
Yes, for sure.
So I would love to see it get to an actual produced production and ultimately one day getting published and, earning those rights.
Those royalties.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, for sure. So are you working on another play or no, not right now?
Yes, I have, I think, 3 different ones that are in various stages of like revision or being written right now. So I think that's been the really nice thing about being an actual MFA program of like teaching you how to, I think a lot of times with writing, it's really important to find the time to really pour into a project and also when it's time to put it off to the side.
Let it sit for a little bit.
Let it cook over there for a little bit and then come back to it later when you've gained a little bit of distance and perspective.
So are you a disciplined writer to where you like block off a couple hours a day, or do you write when you can, or how do you do that?
I think that I'm learning that it is important to be disciplined in your writing and trying to write at least a little bit every single day. Obviously, there are some days where I can sit there and I can write for hours, and other times I have other things going on, and especially I'm still doing theater here and there on the side. So a lot of times, sometimes it's just, I'm a night person. Morning is a little tricky for me.
That's the coffee.
Absolutely. So a lot of times it's me being up late writing. But yeah, I think it's just making it a discipline and making it a priority to be reading every day and writing every day.
Okay, so what is your advice for somebody who is always saying, you know what, one day I'm going to start writing?
You just start. I think that it's trying not to be overly self-critical. Like what sometimes you just have to word vomit on a page, honestly. Like
that's quite the image. Thank you.
I'm sorry. But it's so true. Like trying not to edit in the moment, just like even sometimes getting like the quote unquote bad ideas out is sometimes
like a brain dump, right?
Yeah, like just like get it out and then it'll be over there and you can erase it. But for sure, I think it's just start. And when you get to a place, like it's really hard and scary at times, especially right now, like with this stage reading, it is a very vulnerable place to share something that you've written with other people. But being brave, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised what people will, what feedback you will get and what people will have to say.
And I think you have to be open to that feedback too,
Absolutely,
right? Because
yeah.
Let's face it, criticism sucks, right?
It does.
And so how do you take that if somebody says, I didn't like that character, or I don't know.
I think that is a part of the challenge of theater in general.
Okay, so and I'm an actor too, so
Yes.
when people say, Oh, I loved your costumes. You know they hated it.
And I think being humbled is
set.
yes. The lighting was wonderful,
right? Oh, those
right?
sound
You're like,
effects
oh
were
no. Yes. I think that that's how you grow.
Right.
Honestly.
Just kind of like grit your teeth, right, and get through it.
Yes, and I think that also you have to recognize that it's not always about pleasing everybody. Like sometimes they're not your audience. Sometimes they're just not getting it.
Or
And
they could be in a bad mood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing what can affect you when you're going to the theater.
Yes. So I think it's like learning to decipher what is great advice and what you can kind of just like take with a grain of salt. I've heard a saying like that. Opinions are like armpits. Everybody has them. Most of them stink.
That needs to go in a coffee cup.
Right? So absolutely, you will get some rough advice. Like, take it as you will. But at the end of the day, you are the writer. You know what you want your message to be. You know what the story is. And I think you'll get some great advice out there. But I think a lot of times you'll just get a lot of like, okay, thank you.
Nice dress.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have to ask you, though, because you're playing the lead in your own show. So I would think that that's pretty amazing to be able to do, because you can do everything that you pictured her doing.
Yeah, I think that was, I do love the character, so I think that I'm just excited about the opportunity. But it's also been a very nice distraction because, again, it is very nerve-wracking to sit there and, like, I remember we were in rehearsal and just being nervous in a way that I hadn't even been nervous going into like a character that I hadn't written.
Oh, like just, more like this pressure really on.
Because it makes you feel so vulnerable in a way that, acting does not. So I think that I appreciate the distraction and getting to put on the actor hat for this. And I remember we're doing virtual rehearsals for the stage reading. Okay. So,
but this will be in person though at the theater,
yes,
right?
Yes, the actual stage readings will happen at the theater, but they're in production for a different show right now. Like shout out to Mad Gravity that's coming up.
Coming up, huh?
So we have just been, meeting on Zoom, and I think that like, for me, I was so focused on like this role and like going into the actor mode that it wasn't until I had a moment to sit back and I realized, oh my gosh, this is my show. Like we're rehearsing these words that I remember being up at 3 o'clock in the morning,
That's
like
cool.
Debating about. So it's, I think, been helpful for me to still be very much involved and at the center of the process, but not getting too in my head about it.
Well, plus, sometimes I know during one acts and everything, they don't even want the directors to come. Or I mean the writers, because then you're afraid they're going to start arguing with the director and it turns into this whole thing and it has potential to be bad.
Yes, and it's been important to me to just trust Tiffany, who is our director, and just let her do her job. And I felt like my role as playwright was done the moment I hit submit on that form. Of course, they found some typos, so like they were very kind about checking in with me on those.
Right.
But I knew for me, like if I accepted this, it was just to like step into an actor role and not
to do anything.
Yeah,
else. Not to be like there with your red pen, like trying to.
And yes, and like of course I've worked on revision since that, but that is for me separate, and so I'm not bringing that into this process specifically.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that is so cool. So so let's talk real quick. So this is happening this weekend.
Yes.
And how many other stage readings are there?
So there's going to be 3 different shows. The festival is 3 days, so we have mine the first night on Thursday. Every single night it's at 7:30, and yeah, so we have 2 other local playwrights that will be featuring their shows on Friday and Saturday as well.
Very cool. And this is Rosedale Community Players.
Yes.
Which is awesome because if you've never been there, it is cabaret style. And so you can take your snacks, you can take your wine, and you can, it's really a cool atmosphere.
Yeah.
I did the 1X there last summer, and it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Because you're not like, I can't open my candy.
Yeah, it's not.
You're like, pass that wine, man.
Right? Yeah, no, it's definitely not that feel of like having to be super dressed up in your Sunday best, like going to the theater, which.
Right. Going to the theater, darling.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's just getting your best friends together, going, grabbing, like you said, your favorite snack, your favorite drink, and listening to
Just to
some great
join.
stories.
That
Yeah.
is so awesome. Okay, so tickets are available.
Yes.
Where?
I believe at the Rosedale Community Players website, they also post a lot of information on their social media pages. So Facebook, Instagram is a great source to go over and check them out.
Okay, so all right, so you heard me ask them about the coffee. Well, maybe you didn't. You were in the other room.
I was listening. I promise.
So okay, I can't figure out how old you are, and I don't know that I want to ask you.
I am a millennial. I
Okay.
can give you that
All
much
right, you can
information.
tell me that much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good answer.
All right, so I am going to switch it up on you then.
Okay.
All right, so I was asking them if they would have the chance to meet their younger selves for coffee. What would they say? I'm going to ask you, what would you say to your older self if you were to meet for coffee?
I think trust has been a huge part of my journey. It is still something I am learning. So I think that for me is hopefully something I am getting to, is one day being able to just have a lot of trust in myself. And I think that also it's that life is very fast and life is very slow at the same time. And hopefully I'll be able to look back and appreciate it and say that I was somebody who lived in the moment.
That's wonderful. Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. Being present, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is, yeah. It's all about being present. And we do have a live studio audience here, and you guys have been kind enough to give us tickets for somebody who wants to go this weekend. And if nobody raises their hand, I'm going to take them. Oh, there's one. All right, so Paul gets the tickets. He'll be there this weekend. You also get another coffee cup, Paul. I know, man, right?
Wow, what a great Monday.
Exactly. Do you know the website offhand for Rosedale?
I do not.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Okay, but they are very active on social media.
Absolutely.
And tickets are still available. And it runs
Yes.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yes.
7:30. Champagne Problems is Thursday night.
Thursday night, opening night.
Okay. What about kid appropriate?
There is a little bit of language, but I would consider it to be at least appropriate, like teen. I don't know the official.
How about
qualification.
13-year-olds? Like my kids are
I
staring
would
at
say
you.
for sure. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Well, I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yes.
it.
Okay. So that is Nicole, the author, the playwright of Champagne Problems. Champagne Problems. Sorry.
Yes.
My coffee is down here. I'm like, I got to reach my
You're
coffee, man.
doing great.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to lie. Being in the media obviously gives us some advantages, right? We have the bat phone. We get invited to different things all the time because people want us to talk about it. And my kids ended up being in a movie because of my connections, which was pretty cool. So we're excited about that. But a lot of other things that I'm able to do is try something. And row house, I'm not one of those gym people, right? I'm really not. I tend to be like, I'll just put on YouTube and work out in the basement. But Row House 13, they are amazing. They're right in Beverly Hills, and it has been so much fun. I enjoy their Wednesday class because it's women only, so no judging. But yeah, let's check it out. Let's watch the video. It's awesome. And again, that is Row House 13. Go check it out. Your first class is free. Say hello to Jake, and of course, tell him that Brooke Allen sent you. Well, this is Caffeinated Conversations, and this is our 70th show. And it is just so amazing, so cool to be here with all of you. Thank you so much. And of course, you guys, I've talked to you many times, right, throughout my career at WWJ. And since this show started, Nicole, we just met. And Yvette, thank you so much for being here, because every month we highlight a nonprofit for the entire month. And it's our Caffeinated Act of Kindness. And I have felt that was really important to kind of let the nonprofit talk about what they do, introduce other people that works with their organization, and just kind of really get to know them, because then that spreads more awareness. And you have been our Caffeinated Act of Kindness this month, and I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you.
So, of course, we're talking about puppies to protectors, because you have this deep love for canines.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so the name of the nonprofit is
Shine a Car for the Paws.
Okay, and
Yes,
you
definitely.
and your husband
Yes.
have started this.
Yes, we did.
And second year?
Yeah, it's going, almost into the second
Almost
year.
in the second year.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So, for somebody who may not know, why did you decide to focus on canines?
Well, we've been going and traveling to like Georgia and Florida, and we saw going to their canine officers and see how officers pay out-of-pocket expenses for supplies, equipment, because the budget doesn't cover it. So we came back to Michigan saying, how can we support our Michigan canines instead of spending all the money out of state?
Right.
And found out that there were only little organizations that do that, which are great. They do that.
Right.
But we want to do the whole state of Michigan.
That's so cool.
That's what we want to do, to give back. So that's what we started. And it's just been giving and giving to these officers, and it's what they need. Even little supplies like their reward toys, to their water bowls, to their safety, ballistic vest. That comes out of the officer's pocket. Some is covered in the budget if their department has a good budget,
Right.
but then a lot of are self-funded, to where they have to raise money and funds to get this taken care of.
So it's so amazing, because you see the canine cars on the road, and you're thinking, oh, they're so majestic anyway, right? When you see a canine, but the whole idea that these officers, there's such a connection between their handler and the actual canine, but that even more so, because that the officer may be responsible for some of their upkeep.
Oh, that canine is with them 24/7. Goes home with them. Goes home with the family. Is with the family. That is their partner.
Yeah.
That canine is there to protect them. Not just they protect the community, but they protect the partners and the other officers around them. So that dog is with them all the time.
And they're responsible for like their food
Their
and the vet
food.
care, right?
The vet. A lot of times the departments will pay for the vet care.
Okay.
But it depends on what it's budgeted. So.
Okay, so you were in Vegas.
Yes.
We had talked to you last Monday. You had
Yes.
just gotten back from Vegas, and it was the Guardian.
The Guardian Angel, the
Okay.
light.
Yep, the light.
Yep, we went and showed it to some officers, and they're looking at that. And we went and showed some extra toys. So we're trying to get more things for them that they can utilize, because we just don't buy equipment. We buy what they need,
Right.
so that they can utilize it. We
So
don't want it shoved
Are
in the
departments
door.
reaching out to you and asking you or letting you know what they need? Okay.
Yeah, they do. What they need in their budget. They need training equipment, the vest, things like that. A lot of vests we can't afford right away, but there are foundations and things that can help out. So these are things that we do. So
Didn't you just buy a dog?
we won a grant
Okay.
through the the way that they say it, 4-County Community Foundation. So we won a grant, and we're buying a dog for Shelby Township.
That is so
So
awesome.
I cannot wait.
Oh
I'll
my
have to
God.
invite you to
Yes,
once
please.
we
My
get
mom
the
lives
dog
in
and
Shelby.
everything.
Well,
Yes. So they're in the process of picking out the dog
Okay.
and getting it. So we're purchasing the dog, which is about $10,000, sending it to the academy, which is about $5,000, and buying a ballistic vest, which is about $1,300 for it.
So that's coming all from you guys.
From the grant that we
Really?
yes,
That
exactly.
is amazing. And you have a couple of different events coming up.
Right. Yes. And the events were this year, like we're having our major bowling fundraiser April 12th.
Lace up them shoes, baby.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we have over 50 bowlers registered right now.
How many
just
can you have? Are you
we
almost
can
done?
have as many.
Oh, you
as-
can?
Yes.
Okay.
We can fill. Let's fill the house. Let's
Yes,
get it going.
yes.
Because we have a couple dogs from Warren coming. It could be Argo. It could be Fury or Rip.
Oh, wow.
Rip, or Alpha. Alpha's gorgeous. So-
Really?
but it could be any of the Warren canines that could be there.
Okay.
To meet and greet. But it's just a fun event. And then what we're doing is we'll put money away on each event. Our goal is to purchase another dog from Macomb County
Okay.
that need it. Dogs are retiring like crazy, the canines. They only last till 7, 8 years old, and then they go home with their trainer, usually with their officer, and become a real dog.
That's so sweet.
So, yeah. And then we have at Sidebar Slider Car, we have in Hayes Road, we have a April 4th, we're going to have, they gave us a area that you can hit the balls and get closest to the pin. So they're giving us that from 5 to 8.
Oh, okay.
It's Hayes and Hall Road. So we're looking forward to that.
So
Sidecar.
people can come there.
Yeah, they can come there, pay $10 and get that. And we're trying to get a dog from Macomb County, either Radar or Enzo, to come up there and see and visit for.
Yeah, they're kind of cool. They do all these public appearances, right?
Yes, they do. and what they are is they're bridging the community together, and to see that they're just not out there to take down people. They're out there to be and help out the community too. So yeah, definitely. And then we were just out in Romeo and talked to the Romeo chief of police. He's looking to purchase a new dog because of all the festivals and everything. He wants more of a bomb dog and a community engagement dog. Because of all the festivals they over have 500,000+ people there for their festivals.
Right.
So we're looking at helping him to engage in that too.
So canines, I mean, for people who don't know, I mean, they do, you mentioned the bomb sniffing, right? And we know narcotics, but they do other things too. They track people.
Oh, they track people. They find anywhere from, your little lost child that's in the woods, or a dementia patient that was, happened to wander off. Yeah. They'll track and find them. And the canines are used cross-county, cross-city. It's like when you see events like that, it's like, well, this is just in my county. But that dog can go to, for example, we had a Troy officer come and help and find a Shelby Township dementia patient disappear. So because the dog wasn't available. So they help cross county, cross city, every place.
And they do these trainings. Is it once a month that they do?
No, the trainings are once a week that
Really?
they work all together. Yes,
Okay.
they do it on undisclosed locations, and they train. So if you happen to see a bunch of cars all together, don't get worried. In a weird building or something, don't get concerned.
Hear a lot of barking. No, they don't bark. Do they bark?
Oh, they're in their cars barking.
Oh.
So if you walk by their car, they bark. So, but they do train, and they train on a regular basis. They'll train for, to look for bomb sniffing or drug sniffing, or even just training to control. So they're training constantly. And if they're not on runs and there's a park out or something like that, they'll go and train the dog just to keep them active, because they're working dogs. They have to keep going.
They have to keep going, right?
But they're training, and they train with other departments. So if something happens that officer goes down, that other canine officer can work with that other dog too.
And your passion for this, you were a dispatcher.
Right. I was a dispatcher matron in my younger years. For Fraser's and Sterling Heights Police Department, and I absolutely loved it. And my dad was a Centerline Reserve, and my husband's uncle worked for Highland Park. So it was just, we have the love for the police department. And how can you not love the doggies?
I know, right?
So, and then I saw you were at Jimmy John's.
Yes, with JJ, the bat dog.
Yes.
And then I can't remember the little one's name, Scout.
Right.
So Scout is going to be training. I guess you'll see Scout on the field a couple times this season, but he won't take over until next year.
Right.
But JJ is,
Well, they are fabulous with helping out with the police officers for Battle of the Badges, things like that.
Okay.
So, and we sponsor a lot of that.
Okay.
So where they bring out, many departments working together, and they have a Battle of the Badges where officers, several departments have baseball games and fundraisers, and we'll have to bring you out to that too.
Oh yeah, they were so funny. It was kind of a networking event at Jimmy John's, and all of a sudden I feel this. I'm like, who's licking my hand? I was like, what is that? And I was like, it's like this beautiful dog, just,
Yes.
And then I, talking again, and then another, and then I'm like, oh, there's somebody else licking. Oh, not somebody else, but something licking my other hand, and it was
See?
Scout, the little one.
Yes, they are just a great
Yeah,
organization.
they are. Yeah, they are so cool, and of course, again, bridging the gap with the community, because
Yes.
you're at a baseball game and you see this dog go retrieve a bat. right? And the kids just go crazy. It is really awesome.
Well, and that's what the community likes. The community likes to see what these canines are doing too.
Exactly.
Even it's police canines. Oh, they'll go take down somebody.
Right.
You know, they'll do this. And they watch them on the field and do things, and they love to
cool.
do that. So
Yeah.
yes,
Okay. So
definitely.
the bowling is
April 12th.
okay.
The bowling is April 12th at Bowl 1 in Troy. It's from noon to 3. It's real quick, you know, 9 pin, no tap.
Depends on how you bowl, though, right?
No, all you got to do is hit 9 pins down.
Oh, is that it?
So,
Okay.
yeah, that's it. It's lots of fun. Pizza pop. We have tons of baskets, tons of award prizes. So it's lots of
Are
fun.
you still looking for sponsors?
So yeah, sponsors. If you'd like to be a lane sponsor, just let me know.
Okay.
We'll be more than happy to talk to you about that. This is want to donate a basket, raffle basket, or a gift card. Or we got lots of stuff going on.
Yeah,
So
and it just goes for such a great cause that a lot of people, again, don't really understand what the canine population is and what their handlers do for them and all of it.
yes, exactly. And they're out there working for you, for the community, helping to protect the community, and that's what they're there for. And they're with those dogs 24/7. They take
Well,
care
I
of
have
them.
to tell you, so every time now since I've known you, when I see the canine, I'm like, aw.
Well, for Royal Oak, you got to take care of Thorby and Conan. Those are the 2 Royal Oak canines.
They
here.
are, okay.
And they're just, you got to just see them.
I
They're
don't know if
gorgeous.
I've seen them yet.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So.
Okay, so I've talked to you 3 times now, right? So the whole coffee question, you know this, but
Right.
I'm gonna switch it up on you too.
Okay.
Okay, because I did ask you about your younger self.
Right.
But what if you meet your older self for coffee? What would you tell her?
If I met my older self for coffee, oh goodness, that's a different one. I would say when you were in high school, maybe give your husband a chance.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did you guys go to school together?
Yes.
And you said no?
I never dated him. I never went out with him. We ran track together. We were, sports together. But, maybe give him 38 years later we got together.
Oh, really?
But maybe give your husband a chance.
That's pretty cool. Really?
Yes.
Okay, so how long have you guys been married?
It'll be 11 years this year.
Awesome.
That is so awesome.
Yes.
High five, man. Thank you so much.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Is he going to show up here one day?
Fortunately, he's working all the time.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Somebody
I
has
see him
to-
on Facebook. I see him share
Yeah.
things, and it's so
Yes.
sweet. But wow, we're going to have you back for a dating story.
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely.
One of the after dark ones,
Okay,
right?
sounds good to
Sound
me.
good?
That,
Okay,
the story
awesome.
will blow you away.
Yeah, wow.
Definitely.
That
So,
is kind of crazy.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thank
And
you.
we'll see you next week. I'm not going to say who may be joining you next week because I haven't gotten confirmation.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to hold off on that. But
Great.
it is, always such a pleasure to see all of you in the hot zip codes and the hot credit scores and Catherine, Champagne Problems, and, being in your own show is just amazing and about everything you do. So a couple of fun facts before we go. Of course, this is the start of spring break. My kids, Stacey and Carson, they are here today because they're out of school. But Carson loves Elvis. So he's a big Elvis fan. And it was actually on this day that in 1958, Elvis Presley actually paused his music career to join the Army. So fun fact about Elvis, that happened on this day. And then for Daisy, who loves chocolate, today is actually National Chocolate Covered Raisin Day.
Oh,
Because she- Pass them down, man.
Awesome.
love these.
Daisy's holding out her hand.
These are so good. So good.
Thank you. That's so cute.
And for anyone asking me, the shamrocks that I had on last week, they died a miserable death. I thought, it's so beautiful outside. I'll leave them out. It will be great. There'll be plenty of shamrocks. My luck will never... they died. They froze. So now we have tulips, right?
Right.
So now, now we have tulips.
Definitely. So,
Exactly. And of course, Paul, congratulations. I can't wait to hear all about the show. Maybe I'll see you there on Thursday. Rosedale Players, a cool theater. They support me so much. They've supported the show, so I appreciate that. And of course, a big thank you to Liz, who is here, and Nick, and of course, Dean, who I'm hoping, Dean is the owner of Every Media. I'm hoping he doesn't know this yet, that I can get him on the show next week. The man behind the curtain, I'm all about it. Is he screaming? I don't know. I can't tell. What do you say? I couldn't
Scream.
It's okay, Dean. It'll be fine. So anyway, thank you, ladies, so much. I appreciate all of you. And the 70th episode today. We keep changing locations, but I really, truly feel like we have found our home here.
Yeah.
It is beautiful,
Yes.
and I just love it so much, and I'm so grateful for everyone who comes out to watch. So thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Me and the kids, we are going on an adventure today. I'm so excited. They don't know where we're going. I do. I think I remember. But I'm looking forward to that. So until next week, keep the coffee hot. We'll see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.